All right, let's talk about last night with our political panel. Former Republican Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch, an RNC delegate, and former Democratic candidate for governor Mahlon Mitchell, president of the Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin, and a DNC at-large member. I want both of you to listen right now to part of the speech from Melania Trump, the First Lady, talking about race and the tension we are seeing in the country right now. Let's listen in.
I urge people to come together in a civil manner so we can work and live up to our standard American ideals. I also ask people to stop the violence and looting being done in the name of justice and never make assumptions based on the color of a person's skin. Instead of tearing things down, let's reflect on our mistakes, be proud of our evolution, and look to our way forward.
Lieutenant Governor, I want to ask you about this as well. Certainly a different tone coming from the First Lady, but does it break through when we often see some of the harsher tones and tweets coming from the president?
Charles, I think it absolutely breaks through. Her tone was aspirational and reflective. It was about grace. And to me, especially being from Wisconsin, it mirrored the tone of Julia Jackson, who is the mom of Jacob Blake, who is still recovering in the hospital. And we see the violence in Kenosha. We see the arson and the looting. We see the fear. And you obviously played the video at the end of your last half hour of the silver lining, the neighbors coming together to repair the damage the day after. But I think this was about the First Lady speaking to our inner angels and hopeful, and being one of the few voices that we're hearing out there powerfully calling for peaceful protest. Notice that she never said, stop using your First Amendment rights. Instead, she called for peace. And that's exactly what Julia Jackson was doing. And I think with help from the President of the United States and more National Guard troops, hopefully we will see some healing in Kenosha.
Mahlon, we know that First Ladies can break through, make those connections with voters. We've seen it with Michelle Obama and others. Was this a breakthrough moment, do you think, for Republicans?
You know, I thought the First Lady's speech was very gracious. I think she's a very gracious woman, very respectful. But I also know that she's not the President of the United States. But I thought she did a great job, quite frankly. And I agree with the Lieutenant Governor on that. But I'll tell you, you know, the naturalization, the pardon last night, the ceremony, that's all good stuff. And that all looked great. But we can't forget about who Donald Trump is 364 days out of the year. And that's what I'm focused on. I think that, again, the First Lady did a great job, and it'd be great if she could take some of that graciousness, and Donald Trump could actually learn from that.
I don't know, Mahlon. I feel like Donald Trump is the man who actually offered leadership in Wisconsin and is sending National Guard troops that Kenosha is asking for, that our governor denied. I think he's the leader that we need right now in order to protect us.
The governor has provided some National Guard. It was initially 125, 250 is providing an additional 500 today. But when you look at leadership issues, Mahlon, the president is stepping in right now.
Well, the president's stepping in, but the president hasn't led by talking about what actually leads up to why are we sitting here talking still about systematic racism? Why are we talking about young black men still being shot down by police officers? That's a problem. The president has not commented on that. What the president is talking about is law and order. But let's not forget why we are talking about it.
All right.
Systematic racism, there's problems that we have in America that he is not addressing, and that's the root of the problem. So until we get down to the root of the problem, we will continue to have these protests. And do not, Charles or Lieutenant Governor, confuse protesters with looters or antagonists.
No, and I don't think anyone does. And I think our prayer as a state tonight must be that we have peaceful protests in the vein of Dr. King, where we can have collaborative and respectful conversations.
We're going to leave it there. We thank you both for participating in this conversation. Let's talk about tonight. Kellyanne Conway, the president's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, president of the National Association of Police Organizations, Michael McHale, and Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. All will be speaking, plus Vice President Mike Pence and Second Lady Karen Pence, Texas Representative Dan Crenshaw, and South Dakota Governor as well. For convention coverage around the clock, all you have to do is head to tmj4.com/RNC. We will post all of our stories related to the convention on that page.